LinkedIn's rules have changed going into 2026, and this is not in a new feature way. It's in a who gets shown, who gets trusted, and who ultimately gets hired kind of way. So if you're a founder or an executive running a 6, 7, 8, even 9-figure business, this matters to you because LinkedIn isn't just a content playground as it once was, it's a reputation surface, and you need to be very smart about how you handle it. It's where investors, partners, recruits, and customers, and even peers quietly decide, do I respect how this person thinks? Would I take their meeting? Would I bet on them? But here's the problem. Most people only notice a LinkedIn shift when the results start to fade. Their posts stop reaching the right people. Their inbound slowly dwindles, or the quality of conversations that are coming through the pipeline begin to drop, and it becomes way more frustrating. But by the time you feel this, you're already reacting too late. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the new rules in plain English, what changed and why it matters, and exactly what LinkedIn is rewarding today. So if you're ready to grow your authority in business with ease all year, with no hacks, no gimmicks, just the reality of how the platform is moving, then this is for you. Let me give you a real scenario I'm seeing consistently. A founder told me the other day, Owen, look, I get it. LinkedIn is valuable. I'm not debating that. I just don't have the time to think about what I want to say, and I don't want to just post to stay relevant. And I don't want to also attract random buyers or people who I think will actually never buy. And he was right to hesitate because the old LinkedIn advice pushes leaders into two traps. The first trap is posting generic content, this value-driven content that gets attention from the wrong crowd. You might get likes and comments, and it might from the outside look like you're doing pretty well, but none of those people are actually buyers. The second trap is posting like a marketer and losing your voice and your authority and your signal and coming off way too salesy. So our work with leaders isn't content. It's actually messaging, clarity, and execution. And that's where your focus should be. We make the person's thinking legible. So LinkedIn becomes a deal flow asset, not a noise machine. And that brings us to the new rules of LinkedIn in 2026. LinkedIn is a fit engine, not a reach engine as it once was. And rule number 1 is exactly that. It is a fit engine. You want to figure out if you fit properly into the algorithm with the content you're producing and if the right people are seeing your stuff. So what matters now is not how many people saw my post. What matters is who sees it the most consistently, who's responding consistently, and whether LinkedIn can confidently place you in front of the same type of decision maker again and again so you can grow your business. This begins with how you present your profile and content with the right keywords. You need to be speaking directly to your ideal audience. And a good example is like you can't be a healthcare consultant and talk about cryptocurrency. You might love cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, but that's just not your domain on a platform like LinkedIn. That won't work with this new algorithm. Therefore, if your posts attract random engagement from people who will never buy, LinkedIn is learning the wrong lesson, and that should stop you in the tracks and make you make some adjustments. And if that's the case, then it's going to continue to show your content to the same wrong people. And that's how you end up visible, but irrelevant. You might be getting good engagement and conversations, but from all the wrong people. Therefore, you're better off if you didn't have any engagement at all. Because we are looking for the right people to speak to as founders and executives with the limited time that we have. And this brings me to rule number 2. LinkedIn is getting much better at understanding what you're actually talking about. Not just keywords or formatting, but your topic and your intent, which is why surface level tricks are becoming less effective. Hashtag stuffing, keyword dumping, tagging a ton of people in your industry or niche, over templated posts that have been regurgitating over and over again by the latest guru, or paint by numbers value content. It doesn't rely on surface level tricks anymore as it once did. It's now learning from real behavior patterns, which means, in my opinion, you can't cheat the system anymore. You have to be legit, you have to be authentic, and you have to come with your true core beliefs and worldview on the topic that you have subject matter expertise in. And for executives, that's good news because you're not here to play games. You're too busy to do that. You just want to be clear and consistent. And now this brings me to rule number 3. The first hour isn't a make or break as it once was. I've been getting so tired of people who ask me, or how the guru tells the next person, oh, there's a set amount of time that you need to be posting within, or you need to engage with your content beforehand and warm up your account beforehand and then keep engaging after you post. No, thank goodness those days are done. What is most exciting about this update is LinkedIn is actually resurfacing content days later. So the half-life of posts are growing and now have a longer lifespan compared to any other social media platform. So the winner isn't actually the person who spikes early, it's the person who creates something that holds attention, earns saves, triggers returns, and creates real conversation over a long period of time. And this is massive for leaders because it means you don't need to post like an influencer because you're not an influencer, you're running a massive organization. You need to publish timeless thinking, decisions you've made that you believe about your market, what you're seeing that others might be missing and you find unique, or what most people get wrong and why. So a quick rule of thumb is to speak from experience. Share your genuine views and belief to the world, but apply it to your niche. Don't spread yourself too thin with your messaging. And this brings me to rule number 4, low quality engagement counts less. So the old playbook of chasing a ton of cheap comments doesn't help the same way. All the people that use AI bots, engagement pods, and all that other nonsense is dead finally. So if your comment section is filled with, great post, so true, I love this, it might look active to the less sophisticated person, but it doesn't actually build trust with your real buyers. And increasingly, it doesn't create lift with the platform anymore. It's actually going to hurt you far more than ever before than help you. And I expect a lot of these pods and people who sell these automations for comments that they're going to be well out of business by the middle of this year. All for good reason. I am glad LinkedIn is focused on having real human connection and not some fake fugazi connection. What works now is meaningful interaction, a sharp point that adds dimension, respectful disagreement, an executive level question or a story that actually can clarify what's at stake. In other words, LinkedIn is rewarding real conversation. And now rule number 5, and this is very important. Around November 3rd of last year in 2025, LinkedIn rolled out a major shift toward a more unified AI-driven ranking system. They're calling it Brew 360. And in plain English, here's what this means. It scores things more consistently. It learns faster from your behavior patterns. It adapts over time without needing manual tweaks. And it doesn't rely on little platform tricks the same older systems used to. So again, it doesn't reward hacks. It rewards fit. And the good news for leaders is this. It handles cold starts much better, meaning if you're just deciding to come back to LinkedIn or you've realized the value of the platform more than ever before, or say you're even just starting fresh and you never had a LinkedIn somehow, and this matters, it still won't reward you if you're unclear. And I've seen this to be so true firsthand with our recent done-for-you ghostwriting client who hasn't posted on the platform in over 2 years, and he has had a massive boost to his account and a handful of inbound leads coming off just his first post that we helped him construct. We optimized his profile properly and crafted his content posts in the right way to share insight and intent versus growth value content, which is where we are now, and we're no longer in the old school playbook. And the final rule that ties it all together is the advantage doesn't go to the loudest, it goes to the clearest. Clarity of who you're speaking to and what you believe, what you see differently, and how you can help. And now, quick warning, this is a conversation for another time, but again, if you're not clear on who you're speaking to or what your own worldview beliefs are, or the transformation that you're uniquely positioned to provide, LinkedIn is going to become a dumpster fire and not something that's going to give you any good return. So focus on that primarily, and then you can go on to posting helpful content. Because if decision makers can't recognize your thinking or understand what you do and how you help, then no one will. So here's the last takeaway. The new rules of LinkedIn aren't to post more. They're to send a clearer signal so LinkedIn amplifies you to the right rooms. So if you're a founder or executive who sees the value in LinkedIn and you've been posting perhaps for some time, but you're starting not to see that much of a return, then you could come in with us and we can help you with your messaging and execution so it can become a real deal flow asset. That's what my team and I do. We translate your thinking into clear, high authority content in your own voice and build a system around it for you to scale. If you're interested in working together, there's a link below to apply. We'll see you in the next video.